how sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. So happy to have you all here tonight. So happy to just doing the show in general. It just gives me energy. I was like energy at zero coming into this. Music hit, the time came to turn off the video and just bam, I was on. So thank you for being here. If you're new here, this is HeyArcher Live, well, where me, HeyArcher, sits down with a friend, you, and a guest on camera, Yukon Phil, and we shoot the shit, we pour a drink. By the way, I said, by the way, I hope at least by now you poured yourself just a little bit of...
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, more beer.
And we do that. We hang out, we have fun. Again, as I mentioned at the top, as I mentioned in the title, Yukon Phil in the house. Big dog Yukon Phil, toy hunter, I'm gonna say interviewer. He's been doing shows. He only does them when he has a guest, and he runs a locked up, tight interview. So we're gonna talk about that show. You may even see me on his show. Who knows? He may reveal that today. But we're talking that. We're talking collecting movies, all sorts of stuff. You know how it is here. No game plan. You just do whatever happens. You do whatever feels right. I already see a bunch of you coming into the chat, so make sure to comment. If you've got a YouTube, a blog, podcast, OnlyFans, newsletter, smoke signals, type it out in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shits. But not literally, because we keep the show clean. But, as I say every week, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Yukon Phil in the house. Sir, how you doing?
Dude, that was a hell of an intro, man. I got to work on my editing and like my entire YouTube career after watching that.
No, you're good.
I mean, damn. Thanks for having me, man.
It's a mess.
I don't feel worthy of these statuses you're giving me either. So
no, you're good.
You're pumping me up.
You've come out of nowhere. You're coming in hot into toy collecting. We're going to talk about all that stuff. But we have some mutual friends in the chat, of course. So we'll say hi to everybody. Billy in the house, quite the regular on the show. We got Josh in the house. Good to see you. Aaron Waller, the hardest working man on YouTube there. Got Sal. And I thought I saw a one Kenobi in the house. Good
Kenobi, you let him on this show?
I know. I just sometimes I let anybody on the show. It's kind of crazy.
That guy's like a bad penny, man. He's always turning up.
I love that.
Nah. What's up, General?
He's a good dude. K-Walk in the house as well. You know, it's funny. Kenobi actually has been on like 50 live streams in like 3 days. Like every time I go on YouTube, it's like suggested live stream with General Kenobi. This guy's crazy.
The guy's big time, man. He hit that 500 subs, and now he's big time.
And he's out.
And he's got.
Yeah. That's why he talks to us anymore, like us little people down here, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, how you doing? How's life? Working? What do people know you for these days? Like, tell people about yourself.
Well, I am Yukon Phil, and I've been around YouTube since January last year.
Nice.
And started out with this really stupid idea where I was going to cover my face and kind of look like this, old school bandit who goes and hunts for toys, and covered up my face, put on a cowboy hat, and talked in a voice like this. And I got into it quite a bit, got into it pretty hard. And I've said this on my live stream and stuff. I was very naive to the whole YouTube thing. I thought it was going to be easy. I've been watching since Cincy Nerd was the very first YouTuber I ever watched. Started watching him the minute he put out his first video in 2016. And I was like, oh, man, if this guy can do it, this is going to be easy. I'm going to get like 20,000 subs, and I'm not going to even have to work a day job.
Just overnight.
And then reality smacked me in the head. Right. Yeah, I thought that's how it was.
Yeah.
So I started out and I was like, damn it, this is hard. I thought this was going to be easy. So yeah, it turned into a thing where I did it for a while.
Yeah.
And in June, I gave it up for a little bit. And I came back and I was like, you know what? This whole mask and hat thing isn't working. I got to be me
Mm.
and show the people the real me and show people my real passion for collecting and sci-fi and all these things, and do it for fun. Do it to meet people like you, to meet people like the General, to meet people like Legacy, all these cool guys that I know
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if it wasn't for you two. So
I love
that's my
that.
driving force now, man.
I love that. And everybody, if you have not done so, I put down below the link to his Instagram, or I should say the handle is beneath him, but the links are down below to his Instagram, where he's doing lots of hunts and he's plugging his videos. We mutually found something this past week. I also just found that. And of course,
Great figure, man.
Oh yeah. As I mentioned to his YouTube channel, for some reason it's not letting me click. I think something's going on with Chrome in general today, but the YouTube channel there, make sure you drop subscribe. Link is down below. So you said that it was another YouTuber that actually got you into the, hey, I can do this kind of thing. Was there a specific like figure that you even were like out hunting for, that you were like, oh, I should actually like document this too, and go on this wacky ride?
So I've actually been thinking about doing this for a couple of years, but I was honestly just too shy to do it. I didn't like the way I looked on camera. And I was like, why do people want to watch me? What am I going to bring that's different to the table? And I think what I do bring, it's really the same thing as with anybody else. It's the passion for the hobby and the passion for what you're looking for and their knowledge of what you collect and what you're down with. So one day, I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to just think about this anymore. I've thought about it for 2 years. Let's just do it, and kind of go from there. But I think there wasn't really one specific thing that I found or I was looking for that was like, oh, I got to put this on film. I get more focused on what I'm looking for than what the audience is looking for at times. So, it's that sort of thing, and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was really just being shy that kind of kept me from the whole thing, and that's the honest truth, man. Honestly,
I love the honesty there. I do love the honesty.
No other way.
I also like that you pointed out that there's a difference between like hunting what you're looking for and hunting what the audience looks for. A lot of people may not quite get that who don't do hunting, but they may collect. Or I should say, don't stream or YouTube, but collect.
Okay.
And it's a wormhole. Like I feel like there was a period of time you may have had the same moment where you're out and you're buying stuff, and then you forget you're buying it not even because you like that line or that figure, but like that's the hottest thing on YouTube that people are buying that do this thing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I got myself, see, I've never been a Marvel guy. I like Spider-Man, I like Iron Man, but the buck stops kind of there. I'm more of a DC guy. I got into Marvel Legends because I thought it would get me views. I thought it'd get me subs. I'm not a Marvel guy. And then I remember one day I went to GameStop and I bought the Hydra Stomper. And I got it out of the package. I was like, this is like the biggest piece of crap figure I've ever owned in my life. And I threw it on Mercari the next day. I was like, from there, I was like, man, I am not buying stuff for other people to get views. I've said this in my videos. If you like Marvel Legends, I'm not the YouTube channel for you. Because go to Shartimus or go to somebody who loves them, because you're not going to get it at my channel. I'm for the people, but I'm also for myself because I'm the one fronting the bill for this crap. So, I mean, come on now.
I love that.
I can't buy everything just for that. That's not the whole purpose and the running drive behind my channel now. So it's really to inform people. I've talked to Kenobi about this. A lot of the videos I do, I wish I had seen before I started a YouTube channel. I wish I had known some of the information that I've tried to put out before I started a YouTube channel. I'm sure you probably do too.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of caveats that you're not aware of. And it's like, I wish I knew that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So You know, it was kind of like with the what was the one? Obviously the budgets. We all know budgets and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
But how YouTube goes, I still haven't figured out the algorithm.
Yeah.
I don't even, I don't even know. Uh,
It's
if I
kind of a shot in
feel
the
the
dark,
need
it
to,
seems.
it really is. If I
Yeah.
feel the need to throw out a video that day, I do it. I don't have a schedule,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just all the stuff that it comes with.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a crazy thing we do. We're it's funny. Like even today, like I said, I was just so tired, and I was like, I don't feel like I want to do this, But it's like you
yeah,
have that desire, you have that what is that? Like the force is calling you, like you have to do it. Like you just feel like a piece of you is missing if you're not actually putting something out there.
right, right.
But actually, you mentioned a brand. You said you collect DC and McFarlane. I think you said.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that was one of the lines too. Like NECA was the first one that got me in, but McFarlane was the next one that I was like, I start to go hard on because I love DC in general, but I stopped. And then when I see things like this that he does, I'm like, this is actually kind of dope. Like you go out and you produce accessories to go
Oh
with
yeah.
all sorts of lines, even if they don't match up. You're just like, hey, you guys probably want this for figure photography. I'm just going to release guns, and you can pair it with whoever you want to pair it with.
Yep.
It's quite wild.
The great thing about McFarlane, he, unlike Hasbro, actually listens to his customers.
Yeah.
I think he's got a really good rapport with what the fan base wants. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's a lot of Batmans,
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot of Batmans, but when it comes to what you just showed, like the weapons packs
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing, like the Batmobile Beast was Todd McFarlane's giant FU to that Hell Charger.
Yeah.
He knew, he knew that was going to do good if he put it at a really cheap price, and there you go.
Let's see if I can
So
find it on
honestly,
here.
man, one of my favorite lines that I collect right now, and I collect mostly just the Batman and the Batman villains, but I actually love McFarlane
Yeah.
and will continue to buy him. Yeah, that one right there,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. No, this. I mean, the second he announced this thing, I was like, holy crap! Because again, this is for a 7-inch scale figure, massive, just massive. And what was it like? It's under 100, I think, right?
It's
Or
$50 on Walmart.com. Yeah,
that's wild.
and it comes with a figure. It comes with the death metal Batman too.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
And I love this person's comment. How many backers does it need?
Right. Well, 0.
Shout out to that person. Yeah.
Right. So it's that kind of thing, man. It's that kind of thing. When you get too big, there's always someone to bring you down.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where Hasbro is right now. They're a little too big,
Mm-hmm.
and McFarlane's trying. And I think it's actually working. And it's made me really think about my collecting habits as well.
Mm-hmm.
More it's quality as opposed to quantity now. And I think I've made myself pretty clear how I feel about Hasbro, how I feel about their tactics.
Yeah.
And I've gotten into new things because of that. Super 7 Ultimates. I've been raving about those. I got some new ones today. Freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
Beautiful figures.
They make solid, especially for the price point. Like I think my two favorite lines would be NECA and Super 7, but the reason they're not probably, like, if I had to rank things, they're not top 3 because they're so, like, NECA's hard to get and Super 7 doesn't make enough stuff. Like those are like my two kind of, which for your wallet could be good, but and for $50 a pop with the Super 7 figures, you get a lot of stuff. But I'm like, I just want more. I kind of want more, and everything's. I have a bunch on pre-order. I'm like, I just need it. Where is it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is too, if you shop around, see, I've been hitting Amazon lately, and I've been getting them for 30 a piece.
Right. The stuff that's already released, which is smart.
It's already released. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a good way for a newbie like me can get it going, and there you go.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the one that I really. I'll try. Like, let me see if I can pull it up. Super 7. Here it is. This is what I'm currently like waiting for.
Oh, you got a Lemmy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Especially because
Very
it
cool.
comes with the mic stand at the proper height for you to point him up.
Right.
Like, it's just so good. So good.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even seen like the Star Trek figures. I'm not into Star Trek, but those look
Amazing.
great.
Absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
they look fantastic. So, it's hard to get away from the Hasbro thing, but
Yeah. Every
excuse
so
me.
often they hit it. Every so often they got some good stuff, but
They do.
It helps you because you, like you said, you don't even collect Marvel like that. So that already kind of crosses that off the list, which is good.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it just kind of hurts in the whole Star Wars and Transformer world. That's where I'm taking the hit because there's no other way to really get Star Wars. You're taking, all of us are. Transformers, there's not really a great way to get Transformers other than that. So, sacrifice.
Even Super 7, like they don't make enough Transformers. So like you need to go through Hasbro if you want the large variety, Beast Wars, movie, all these other variations. Super 7's kind of just like classic animated, which is nice. But give it to me. Give it to me.
Give me more. just keep bringing it out. It's okay.
Exactly. So it's funny in talking to you, and some of you may notice if you're here all the time, maybe you don't. We've actually never even talked before. So it's weird, talking with words versus just chat, like seeing each other in each other's chats or being on each other's shows and all that. So I really don't know much about you at all. So this is quite exciting for me. What was it that led you down this dark path, this path of no return, in the nerd world? Like, what was that first franchise that just like hooked you and completely fucked you for the rest of your life?
So it was Star Wars. I've loved Star Wars since I was 3 years old. And when I was a kid, toys were a lot of things to me. I have such great memories of getting toys for Christmas. Toys really even helped me in a household where there was a lot of yelling and fighting. And I could always remember going back and, looking at my Star Wars figures, looking at my Vader, looking at my 1992 Batman Returns Combat Jet Batman, and just feeling like a sense of calming and a sense of relief. Even when times were hard, I remember getting in trouble at school, but I could always go back and look at my toys and that sort of thing. So it's nostalgia for me, like a lot of other people, but it's also like on another level with that. It's a calming agent, and it's something that just, it kind of makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, I guess. Is that the best thing to say with it? Because it's a part of me. There's been numerous times I've tried to sell my collection, and I've told my wife, it's just part of who I am. And I can't, it's like living without, living with one eye or living with one arm, it's just part of who I am. And I have to express that in a way that I can show my kids now, which they're sort of down with it. Like my boy loves Skeletor, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
But, I think that's it. I was never a guy who was really into gaming. I was always into action figures.
Interesting.
All the time with the action figures. It didn't matter what it was. And actually, when I got older, when I was 16, that's when Power of the Force came out.
Oh, wow.
And I went heavy in the Power of the Force and episode 1 and everything else. And really been going heavy ever since, to be honest. So,
Just to,
that's kind of where it stems from.
Just to show all of you, this is the line he's talking about. This is when they did a redesign on the Star Wars figures. And they were even more like jacked in some of them and stuff. But this was my first Star Wars line. Like I don't think I had any Star Wars figures until this line actually came out. And it seems like for a lot of us in this age group, like that was our line.
Definitely. I remember those things being everywhere. $4.74 at Walmart. They were so easy to get a hold of.
Oh my God.
And then you could just build up your armies with no problem. And they just came out with so much stuff back then. It was like, how do you keep up? But I mean, I was a completionist for 10 years straight with those. Had over 1,800 figures, 300 vehicles. Like I had everything. and then, you know, I lost a job and I had to sell it all. And then
Mm,
we kind of just, you know, we've gone down that hit and miss path for the last 15 years. And, you know, I'm a lot more picky about what I buy now.
yeah,
Back then I would just buy it because it said Star Wars on it.
yeah, yeah.
So now it's like, okay, let's make sure this is actually good. You know, I don't want
which
to buy
is
crap.
which is hard to tell when you can't even see inside the window or anything. But it's
Man, I tell you that, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Even
horrible.
I look at I picked this up at Walmart, and it's AEW figure Cody Rhodes. I'm I've probably watched 10 minutes of AEW total in my adult life. I know classic wrestling. I don't watch it on a regular basis, but the figures, the presentation, the
Oh
seeing
yeah,
everything in the box, I'm like, holy crap! Like, I'm gonna buy this, even though I know, like, I couldn't even tell you his music, I couldn't tell you his move, nothing. But it just the presentation's so good. Again, very similar to Super Seven, where it's like, man, I
right.
kind of need to have that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example right there of what can be done if you listen to your fan base and you listen to what the people want. I
Hmm.
actually saw that figure yesterday too at Walmart, and
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. The options they give you, and for all the options to be displayed
yeah,
in the window to
yeah,
see exactly what you're getting. I mean, if I was a wrestling, you know, I'm a wrestling fan, but if I was a wrestling action figure fan,
yeah,
that's a no-brainer,
yeah,
you know.
for
And
sure.
it's just a cool figure, you know.
Yeah,
So you got to have that.
definitely. Um, so you said Star Wars was that intro. Was which movie was it? And is that your favorite Star Wars movie or not?
So it's Empire. And
Yeah,
yes, Empire is my favorite.
yeah.
Um, you know, really, uh, Empire just see, I was actually I hadn't been born yet when Empire came out. I was born in July of '80. And
When are
so
you
I
in
didn't
July?
really what's that?
What's your day in July?
July 14th.
Shut the 17th.
Oh, nice.
I love
Nice.
that.
Well, late happy birthday, man.
You too.
Thanks. Yeah, but you know, growing up when I was little, when I was 3 or 4, I remember my dad taking me to see Return of the Jedi, and I had never been afraid of the Death Star, but some reason I was freaking out with the Death Star,
Mm,
and he had to run me out of the theater, crying and bawling my eyes out at 3
wow.
years old, and you know, I think he about had it with me on that one. But getting a little older, it was definitely Empire.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Vader fan. Vader
Mm,
is the guy for me.
yeah.
So, and then just growing up, you know, I remember seeing episode 1 in the theater like 20 times. I
Yeah.
was 18 and I was like, I'm gonna go as many times as I can and just gonna get enough. But
Hmm.
still to this day, it's definitely Empire, and I don't think that's ever gonna change, especially with the way things are going right now. So
Yeah. It's wild. That was my first movie as well. And, going to toys for a second, I I remember I was watching it on NBC, and I may have told it on the show, so if everybody's heard this before, sorry. I was watching it on NBC, tube screen TV, got to watch all the commercials. Kind of crazy for everybody to think these days. And I was so blown away. Like when I saw the Falcon flying around, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And all I had that was similar was I had the Enterprise from Star Trek, because my dad is a huge Trekkie. And luckily for me, the saucer part disconnected from the rest of the body, like on the show, and it was made out of diecast. It was a great model. Now that I think about it, so I disconnected it, and then I would use the saucer part to simulate being the Falcon until eventually I was able to get Star Wars toys at some point. But
nice.
for the longest time, I thought Empire was the first movie and the only movie. And my mom was like, no, there's one before it and there's one after it. And I was like, nah, you're wrong. 5-year-old me, or however old I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. She's like, no, I saw the original one in theaters. And I was like, no, this is the first one. Like, Empire is the only one.
Right.
And
Right.
then later on,
Nice.
you fast forward, for me as well, Empire's number one. And New Hope, I rarely watch that one. It doesn't
Yeah,
come up very often.
I don't either. You know, my Return of the Jedi was another big one. My family loved that one.
Hmm.
a ton. So we watched that one a lot when I was growing up
Mm-hmm.
too. But there's just some of it, the thing that got me with Empire is the Hoth battle.
Yeah.
The part with the walkers, I mean,
Yeah.
like you've never seen anything like that before. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost like World War II on steroids.
Yeah.
And it was just so like enthralling.
Yeah.
And being in that kind of environment with the whites and everything else, and just seeing those towering walkers coming at you. I mean, it was just like, what the hell? It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it still is. I'll still watch it with my kids and be like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, how did, I wish I had the mind to think of something like that, because it's just amazing.
And even, you kind of referenced, how the new stuff isn't as good. When I think about that movie and I think about George in general, like he took chances, and I think he could at a certain point, because there wasn't a massive company behind, telling him what to do.
Right.
At least in the first one. In the second one, that's when Big Corp kind of put their hands on stuff. And if I remember, I could be wrong. I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure he did not direct the second one.
He did not. Erwin Kirschner.
Yeah.
I can't say his last name, but yeah, he did not.
Yeah, and that's why that one totally is so different than Hope, and then somebody else for Jedi. But it was one of those where I'm like, oh, it actually, like, it worked in this case of having somebody else do it, in my opinion. But they took chances, and they were not afraid to necessarily take them, including one of my favorite mistakes ever, which is Vader being Luke's father, because that wasn't the original story. But they were like, we're gonna shock people in theaters. And, whoa, like, mind's blown.
Yep.
But now when you watch the new stuff, I'm like, they won't take any chances. Like do something. And they kind of did in Last Jedi, even though I hate that movie. But like, I at least acknowledge that at the end, it seemed like they were gonna try something different, and then they just renege on it.
Absolutely. I don't want to like really defend Disney or anything, but the problem is right now that I see, they're between a rock and a hard place. They have an impossible fan base that not only wants them to take chances, but they also want them to homage back to the original trilogy with everything, even though it might not have anything to do with it.
It's a really good point.
So really, they're in such a bad position now. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.
And with social media and everything right now, everything sucks. It doesn't matter what they do. I actually really enjoyed the Obi-Wan series. I enjoyed 3 out of 6. I thought that fight between Vader and Obi-Wan was one of the best cinematic fights I've ever seen in my entire life. I thought it was extremely well done. But I saw people picking it apart, and it's like, man, that if I had seen that when I was a kid, that might have probably done more to me than Empire did, because it was Vader the way we wanted to see Vader. And that's really all I cared about,
Yeah.
So it's a tough thing right now with the way the fan base is and the way Disney is.
Well, and even going semi full circle, like when you bring in YouTube into the picture, like there are channels now that are pod committed. Like all they can do is make Star Wars sucks videos. Like they can't do anything else, or else the fan base that they've built for their channels are going to leave. And it's kind of sad in a way. But it's like,
that's ridiculous. It's like you're going to spend all your time just bitching about something that you supposedly love. You don't really love it if all you do is bitch about it.
If you can't find one good thing, and the thing is, I'm kind of happy you mentioned Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan, I was loving every episode as we went through it, and I saw the cheesiness in it, just like the next person, and it was kind of like, oh, but this feels like nostalgic Star Wars. And to your point, watching people nitpick everything, I think I even did a TikTok on it. I was like, everybody who complains about this, have you not watched Star Wars? Like, the scene where he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum or whatever, the Inquisitorius, and same shit. And the water, caves in, he gets wet. They get out, his hair's dry. People are like, oh, they can't even pay attention to that detail. And I'm like, Mofolk, did you not watch New Hope? That literally happens in New Hope. And they're just making fun of that. Like, it's not a miss. Just let it go.
You're like 45 years late to the party, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, That's the thing. It's like, don't nitpick every little thing. You're just nitpicking and nitpicking. You know, I mean, I'm with you. I hate Last Jedi, but I will give it to Ryan Johnson for taking a chance and trying to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a horrible job at it, but I give him credit for having balls
Yeah.
and at least saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to try to do my own thing here.
Yeah.
Now, the execution was
Awful.
dramatically bad,
Yeah.
but, you know, at least he tried. At
Yeah.
least there was something that was there that was new. And it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with the way things are in the fan base, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you don't, you're not that big into collecting Marvel. Does that mean you're not a Marvel fan in comic or movie, or it's just the figures you don't really mess with?
Well, I mean, I am a casual fan. We'll say
Okay.
that. I've always been into Spider-Man. I
Mhm.
actually just watched Iron Man last night. I love
Nice.
all the Iron Man movies.
Yep.
Love all the Spider-Man movies. But honestly, Batman's my guy. So,
Nice.
you know, I really gravitate more towards Batman. I can't stand Superman. That'll probably piss off your.
No.
Yeah,
Well, it'll
you
piss
know.
off like 3 of them in here who love Man of Steel for no reason whatsoever. But aside from
I
that,
don't understand that one, but okay.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've seen, you know, it's just till recently, kind of like with Star Wars. I can't watch the Marvel stuff. I can't watch She-Hulk. I can't watch that stuff. I just don't. For one thing, I don't have time. For another thing, it just doesn't interest me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they want to pop out another Iron Man movie with somebody else, I'm down. But you know, I'm pretty casual when it comes to that sort of thing. It's more Star Wars and it's more Transformers and
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. Masters of the Universe, that kind of thing. So
Have
yeah.
you shown your kids OG Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe?
Not yet, because they'll run out of the room screaming if they see Skeletor. So we're not doing that yet.
I love that.
We're not doing that yet. So, but my son, he plays, like I said before, he's got this little Thomas the Train set thing over here.
Yeah.
And I've given him a lot of Skeletors from the Origins line and that stuff that I
cool.
thought I was going to do. And he was over there knocking them around the other day. And, you know, my daughter, she was playing lightsabers with her brother the other day. So they've been indoctrinated to a point, and they're cool with it. They're cool with it.
You got to put some hair on on their chest, man. You got to show them that movie. Let them see Dolph Lundgren freaking all steroid out, like swinging the sword of power all over the place. You gotta go all in, man.
I think I got my daughter really good because when Obi-Wan was out, I literally had to wait for her to get home from school to watch it. If I watched it without her, she would cry. So we literally, even if it took us a couple days after the premiere, we watched every single episode together, and she was really into it with the whole Vader. She loves Vader, so really into it with the Vader thing too. And I was a proud daddy right there.
I love that.
That's for sure.
Actually, question on that. Sidebar. I was gonna say, are you a Turtle fan? Well, obviously you are. I don't know. Why I don't know why I said that.
Absolutely.
That's a stupid question. Yep. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry,
good,
everybody. OG 1990 movie. The biggest complaint the studio had when they saw the preview was this is too adult for children. Like, children are not going to watch this and whatever. You know, big hit, greatest movie all time. But I forgot what
I don't know what they were thinking when they said that, because I saw that movie probably 3 times in the theater. That is probably next to Star Wars, my favorite movie of all time, just like you.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the way Shredder looks in that movie. I mean, that's the only way you can rival Darth Vader for me, is the way he looked in that movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had all the toys. You know, I was talking to Century TMC about this on Instagram, where he's putting all of his pieces together for the all the vintage Turtles and stuff. And I remember having the little pizza thrower thing. It was like a giant tank. You loaded it with these plastic pizzas and just shot it everywhere. I remember shooting my dog with that thing. You know, it was, and that's why I've gotten so into Super 7 now, is because those are just big versions of those vintage figures that I can actually afford, you know? So absolutely, you know, I'm upset with myself for neglecting my TMNT collection, but I am a huge Turtle fan and always will be. But like with you, it's got to be the older stuff. It's got to be the the original cartoon. It's got to be the '90s movie. I'll tolerate Secret of the Ooze, but from there it kind of ends, man. That's where we draw the line, you know.
You know, I do have to say, there's one other movie for you to give a chance. No, I will not say Michael Bay movies, but
Thank you.
there's the actually, shout out Billy. He had the producer writer on his show on A Bunch of Nerds. There's the animated movie that came out in the early 2000s, and it was like an unofficial sequel to Secret of the Ooze. Great movie. Ton of actors and actresses in it that we all know. Like Patrick Stewart plays the bad guy.
Nice.
I'm gonna see if I can find. I'll see if I can pull it up here. It's none of these. I might have talked about it on the show before, but it definitely worth the watch. It's definitely more kiddie than 1990. Like I don't think they'll ever touch that. You know, that level of dark again. But here it is. I forgot my buttons.
I remember back in '90, they had
one.
such a bad rap with that movie that's part of the reason Secret of the Ooze was so bad. You know, there was all these complaints that the turtles use their weapons too much, and you know, they took away Donatello's bow staff and made him use a yo-yo, you know, and that sort of thing, and it got a little watered down for me.
Yeah,
I remember this. Yep, I remember this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yep. It is pretty good.
Okay.
And even though, you know, again, he had to kiddie it up to a certain extent, like it's a really good story. Really good story.
Nice. I'll definitely give that a watch. I remember seeing the action figures for it. I think those were pretty cool, but into Star Wars, I never bought them. So
the question I had, and by the way, everybody, at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. Central, wherever all of you are, 9 p.m. Eastern, General Kenobi and the Legacy of Nerd are doing a live stream to celebrate the Legacy's 500 subscribers. He just hit 500 and then hit 600. So he's 100 behind, but we'll all go over there after this show. Link will be down below. Make sure you click on that. My question for you, because you mentioned Shredder and Vader, the Vader question I tend to have for people, are you a Vader fan because of the Clone Wars cartoons, or were you just a Vader fan, like just based on the movies?
Just based on the movies.
Okay.
You know, I didn't actually see the Clone Wars cartoon until, you know, way after it had come out. I didn't really get into that too much. But yeah, I mean, I think I've been Vader like 6 times for Halloween in my life. So yeah, it was definitely the movies. It was just the way that they represented him and the way he walked and the way he talked, and just, I mean, there's not a more menacing character out there than Darth Vader. I mean, that's like as big time as it gets. And then that's what I loved about going back to Kenobi. That's what I loved about Kenobi so much, because not only was he menacing, like he actually did something, you know, he actually used the Force. He actually tore ships down. He did all these things that we were like, damn it, he needs to do something. And he actually did it. So that's made Vader even that much more for me, just as like the ultimate badass. There's no one to me who can even come up in his realm in my head. So so yeah, man.
I was looking at the picture. I forgot I even found this at Rhode Island Comic Con, because we were talking about Clone Wars there.
Nice.
It wasn't until the series that I became a Vader / Anakin fan, because, you know, as a kid growing up in a super religious household, I'm like, no, Vader's bad. He's evil. Evil's bad. And then Clone Wars comes out. As an adult, I'm watching it. You know, as an adult, life punches you in the gut quite a few times as you proceed. And seeing Anakin do so much work and then get denied his promotion, I was like, you know what? You're right. F them. F them all.
Yeah. I mean, it fits, you know.
Yeah.
It really fits. Like all the mythology of Star Wars. I mean, you know, it's fitting to life. It's fitting to the Bible. It's fitting to a lot of things that it's taken from. And you can really, I know a lot of people use it in that regard. It's a way to maybe cope with something else that you're going through, or a way to, you know, if you don't understand something like in the Bible per se
Right.
to kind of help you through that and kind of do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's whatever you got to do to get yourself in the spot you got to be in. And if you got to relate to a character, probably don't do the things Vader does, but
Yeah.
there is a relatable factor there for sure.
Yeah.
And it's just that thing where you're not alone, and you're not the only one dealing with whatever you're dealing with, and just
Mm-hmm.
be a little more mindful than Anakin Skywalker. No go chopping up younglings or any of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, dude, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. I'll see if YouTube's working now. I know Aaron said earlier that clicking on channels was not working for him, so I'm going to try it now. But in the meantime, oh yeah, it's still not working. Interesting. In the meantime, tell people where they can find you. What do you have coming down the pipe? What can they look forward to? All that fun stuff.
All right. Well, let's get the elephant out of the room. You guys, if you want to see me and Archer talk again, well, tune into Yakking with Yukon on Sunday at 7 p.m. because he is my guest on Yakking with Yukon, and I get to get back at him and grill him this time. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to talking to the man again here. I'm, right now I'm living in shorts land, honestly, because I'm kind of tired of putting a lot of work into, these videos and getting 25 views, and I do one short for 10 seconds and I get 1,000. So, I do have this one thing for YouTube. It's called 60-second reviews. I'll take a specific toy, kind of like this one. We did this one today.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
In his collection, Mando, good figure.
Is that the one with the
Definitely
spider?
recommend him. Yep, that's the one with the spiders,
Nice.
the Maldo Crease one, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a 60-second overview of a figure that I have, and I just give you some really quick thoughts on it. So I think that's going over pretty well. I'm just going to keep going with YouTube, meeting cool people and being on shows like this is the driving force behind it. And, I'm here to stay. I'm not really going anywhere. Hope to meet some of these guys in person one day. I think that'd be a cool thing. Kind of hoping to maybe get a collab with maybe some of these guys in the future. I know Kenobi and I talked about that. So yeah, man, I'll always be around. I appreciate you having me on the show. Appreciate any of you guys going and checking out my content, giving me a sub, giving me a like. Even if you give me a dislike, at least you watch my stuff. So I'm good with that too.
I love that. Yes, it's definitely, I'm looking forward to the show, and all of you, I wasn't lying. I never lied to you guys anyway, but just so you know, like his interviews that he does on the show, amazing. The first one I watched was the Sentry one, actually. Really enjoyed it.
That's all Sentry, man. That's all Sentry. Once you get
him
going,
you're driving it though. You're driving it. That's a skill.
Well, thank you. Sorry about the cough.
No, you're good. Star Wars has that effect on people.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I appreciate it, man. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. I was gonna say I forgot about Crash Test Dummies until you guys talked about it, and I was like, holy crap! I had those toys and I loved them. Absolutely loved them.
Yeah, I never had any of those, but I mean, I think he's had everything, or he has everything, because that guy, he's a beast, man. He's got away with the camera. He's got away with the way he carries himself. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley and be on the bad side of him. And, Sentry's a good guy. He's a cool kid. He's a cool guy. And, honestly, all you guys are. And, really enjoy it.
Absolutely love it. As we exit the show, the question I have, BVS, thumbs up, thumbs down?
Oh, thumbs down.
Ooh, even the Snyder Cut.
I haven't seen the Snyder Cut.
Oh, Batman vs. Superman Snyder Cut? You've not seen that one?
No.
Ooh, we got to talk about that on Sunday.
See, now I'm out of the show.
I don't hide the fact that I hate Man of Steel, but I do not hide the fact that I love BVS, the Snyder Cut specifically. It's the only version.
I'll have to check that one out.
Only version that counts in my head.
Yeah.
But thank you all for being here. Again, down below, links for the Legacy of Nerd and General Kenobi. They're doing their stream right now. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Make sure you check out nerdaffiliated.com for links to all the merch, links to the shows, podcasts, photography, all that stuff. Like, comment, subscribe to that, man. Links down below. And we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace.
Huh? What?